Hey, what's up, you guys? It's your girl, Crystal J. You already know it's Autism Awareness Month, and you already know why I'm here to spread more awareness and acceptance. Duh. And if you don't know and you new, well, welcome to my bedroom, and you're now a official roommate. Yes. I hope you guys are ready for season 4, you guys. Before we get into my interviews of interviewing these awesome moms, you guys, season 4 is going to be full of me interviewing more business owners. And guess what? I got a theme song, you guys. I got this cute intro. I can't wait till you guys see what I've been working on. But let's start this interview, you guys. Today, we're talking to two awesome moms about what is their autism story. So I'm going to kick it off with my first mom, Octavia, and we'll be right back. What is your autism story?
So let's say about 2008. At that time, I only had one child. Now I have four. I'm raising this little human, and you never know who you're raising. Of course, they always say that. And, he was going through school and having little things come up here and there. And I'm just like, everything's going to work out. You always think everything's going to work out and you keep moving forward. And I didn't notice that I was working. It seems like 10 times harder than everyone around me. And, a lot of people were saying, oh, he'll grow out of it. Oh, he's just a boy and things of that nature. And I'm just like, no, 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 there's something. I just can't quite put my finger on it, but there's something. And I don't know what exactly it is. And I used to look at other moms and say, I don't understand how, these moms handle dealing with children who have disabilities. I didn't think I could be that strong, not knowing that I was that mom myself. And once I found out, it was an eye opener. Of course, it was sad, but I do think that the biggest thing to remember is one, you're not alone. Two, you have all the tools you need right in front of you. And then three, raising children who have disabilities or autism specifically can definitely be a treat. They can bring so many different joys to so many different situations. They look at things very differently, and they open your eyes to so much more that the world closes your eyes to, because we look at the world differently.
So I want to touch on a couple things you said. I'm gonna go with the first thing you said. You said we all look at the world differently, right? You said that was what you said, right? So
Hmm.
my question to you, don't we all look at the world differently? Like I may watch a movie and you may watch a movie and we have two different experiences. But that is how autism is. But people don't want to see it that way. We all you can have 100 people go to see what's the newest movie out? Batman,
Batman. Hmm.
and everyone will walk out with a different point of view. But
Hmm.
that's how autism is.
So with my oldest son, who is autistic, so I have three children who are autistic, and different forms of autism. Um, my oldest son, he'll tell me a lot of times, he'll say, Mom, sometimes when people are talking to me, I don't know what they're stating. And I don't understand what they're stating until they say something I understand. And that's when I respond. So normally he's just sitting there in limbo until he sees a point to where he can kind of say what he's feeling about whatever the conversation may be. um Whenever he told me that, and when and me hearing it from him, I understood him, but I know that the another person would be like, well, what is he talking about? There's something called audio processing disorder, to where he can hear one thing but he thinks you're saying something else. So someone will say, hey, um how is your day? And he'll say, well, it's raining outside, instead of, okay, my day was great, I feel great, I woke up with a smile on my face. He'll think they're asking him about the weather, and vice versa. So there's so many different ways to kind of put it, but I think that's probably the best.
I agree with that. I try to break down autism in the cutest way that people can understand that we're all different.
Hmm.
One thing I hope that everyone take away from me is kindness and patience. You have to have patience to
Mm-hmm.
deal with a special needs kid, not just autism, but somebody who is awesome already, and
Mm-hmm.
kindness. That's something that the world lacks.
Yes.
I see it all the time, like at my job, like when I see somebody disabled or hurt, people just go about their business. Prime
Mm-hmm.
example: the other day, I have nails. See, y'all see that?
Mm-hmm.
I went to the gas station. I put my card in a thing. I had a little flapper thing where I can pull it off out, but it wouldn't come out. I could not get my card out this machine. So I asked for help. Do you not know I got no help? Zero. And what if that was my child who
Mm-hmm.
needed help because he don't understand something?
Mm-hmm.
The world has no kindness like that. It's very few people who will say, let me help them. I don't think that person's trying to hurt me or rob me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just want to use that as an example to go back to the word kindness. I feel like we need that. I heard you say you have 3 kids. So that's another good point. Autism is not one size fit all. It's
Mm-hmm.
one word, 1 million different stories. And the spectrum is so big, you can
Mm-hmm.
have high functioning, which I hate the term high functioning. I hate the term low functioning.
Right.
I cannot stand. My son is high functioning. You want a award? Like,
Right.
you want a cookie? You want me to
Right.
give you something? Because
Right.
we still experience autism in our
Right.
different ways. I hate, and I will go on the record and say I hate that term to the
Yes.
point where my son's doctors can. I'm like, don't use that term, please.
Right.
And they'd be like, okay, and they respect me on that. Like, I asked not to use the term non-verbal. My term for my son is non-vocal. They respect
Mm-hmm.
that, but it goes back to the lack of education, lack of knowledge of learning what autism is. And so my next question is, what do you do for a living?
I am a children's book author.
Okay.
I have written my first book back in 2015, but of course, I didn't get that extra push to put it out there. I self published it back in 2020, October of 2020. It's on Amazon. It's called Mommy, I Do Not Have Any Friends. Um, it's about my older son, and it's a story that he told me about how he wasn't able to make friends, and it kind of teaches him how to find friends in a in different places. So that's the first book, and then I have another book that's coming out pretty soon once I can get the illustration together. So
Congrats.
thank you.
Girl, holla at me, 'cause that's what I do. But my question about your first book,
Hmm.
Mommy, I Don't Have Any Friends. Do you touch autism?
Sort of.
But not fully.
Not fully, because at the time I did not know he was autistic.
Okay.
Hmm.
So my next question to you is, are you gonna remake that? Are you gonna write a part two to Mommy, I Don't Have Friends, Autism Awareness version?
No, because he's much older now. And that's the part, because unless I can catch that specific moment to kind of give who he is, then I couldn't give that specific moment. I couldn't catch that specific moment. But there will be other books about different things, teaching children about the world as they see it.
Okay. All righty. Well, you guys go to Amazon, check her out. Um, do not go anywhere. We're gonna come back with you. And I'm gonna go to my next mom, you guys. But I have a question for you.
Yes.
How did you embrace autism?
Um, it took a long time. I When our son got the diagnosis, he was younger, so it took a long time to embrace what we were dealing with, what was said to us, and then to kind of take off with how are we going to make that work in the family and share with other people.
So when you first share, you brought the word share. So when you first found that your son was autistic, like my question is, you said the word share. So how did you share it? How did you make the announcement? How did your family and friends accept your awesome kid?
Yeah. So our son was diagnosed shortly before he was 2 years old. And so, in all honesty, only my family, like my mom and my older sister, were ones that were told at that point about his diagnosis, because we were still struggling ourselves as parents of trying to figure out what did that mean. And we have three older children, older than him, that we were trying to still figure out how do we make this make sense to them as they saw behaviors and stuff happening, but now they needed to understand what this diagnosis meant and what that would mean for our family. So it was probably about a year before we shared with my husband's family, um, and like my coworkers at the time and all that. Um, so it took some time to kind of process in our head about what was this, what role did we play. I think we were more worried about, was someone going to try and blame us, like we did something wrong this time around that led to him being diagnosed with autism.
Okay, I was just about to hit on that
Mm-hmm.
because I was the opposite. I told my son's story, well, not his story, but his diagnosis, um, 21 days after he was diagnosed.
Mm-hmm.
I only remember because it was Halloween. He was diagnosed October the 10th, 2019. And I only remember because on Halloween, it was just so much. And it showed me he really was autistic. He had nothing but meltdowns the whole day, crying. It was so intense. I was so overwhelmed. I vented on Facebook. And but yeah, I'm about to ask you that, but you already hit on it. And I feel like that's a lot of black moms, awesome black mom story is they are ashamed or they don't want to say anything because people gonna judge them and treat them differently. And I would say with me that wasn't it. I just was trying to get his resources. 2 days after he was diagnosed, I said, okay, I'm done being in my feelings. It's time for me to find his resources, and that's what I did. I know I was the opposite. I hit the ground running, and I didn't stop. And did I get burnt out? The answer is yes. But was I overwhelmed? Yes. But I figured it out. I figured out my schedule and his schedule, and now I'm good. But I wonder why is that an issue within our community that when we have a special needs kid, we just can't come out and say, "Hey, oh, he just got autism," and we assume they're gonna treat us differently. I do know in some stories where the families and friends do treat the people differently and they and not get invited to birthday parties. I do know that's a thing. I see it way too much in the Facebook group that I met you ladies in. I see it all the time. I'm fortunate not to have that happen to me because if somebody do that to me, I will cut you off, family or not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You, I have a zero tolerance. You gonna treat my son how you treat your child to a certain extent, you got to be understanding and patient. Now, if you try to treat my kid like he's neurotypical, we got a problem because he's not
Mm-hmm.
fully neurotypical. So that's my take
Yeah.
on it.
I agree with you. I think for us, speaking for me, my husband's not here. Um, there were people like in his family that were like, black kids don't get that. Um,
Mhm.
and we haven't had the not inviting us to things. We live in a whole nother
But
state
I think
from,
that's so ignorant.
yeah.
Like, and that's the reason why that's the reason why I'm an advocate. That's the reason why I
Mm-hmm.
write books because
Mm-hmm.
ignorant comments like that, black people don't
Yeah.
get autism.
Yeah. Yeah.
That uncle and auntie you had back in there that didn't talk, that was
Right.
autism. But you didn't
Yeah.
know that because
Yeah. Yeah.
they didn't get their kids diagnosed back then. So I
Yeah.
think when I hear things like that, I cringe because
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, you can't be that ignorant to think
Mm-hmm.
that because you're black, you don't get autism. Or you
Yeah.
black, you don't get Down syndrome. You can
Right.
like
Yeah.
that's the most ignorant and it's grossly ignorant. I know you heard
Mm-hmm.
my tone change because I think that's so stupid. Like I'm gonna call it what it is. That's stupid.
Yeah. Yeah.
I gotta add the
Absolutely.
other mom because I know she agreed. Don't you think that's stupid, girl?
Absolutely.
Yes, I
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
what?
I
I,
think
I
it's easy when you can't see, right? Like
mhm.
autism, you can't, we got, black kids don't get that. He doesn't look autistic.
Right.
I have no, you still get that every once in a while. Um,
Yes, and
yeah,
I don't
everybody's looking
understand what
for
that
something.
means. Like when
Hmm.
somebody say he don't look autistic, I'll be like, huh?
Or he
I'm like,
doesn't
first
act it.
off, let me educate you. Autism don't have a look. Let's
Right.
go
Hmm.
through that. Number two, Down syndrome has a look, and then I know I come off like very forceful, but it's because I'm passionate, and I just can't stand that. And I understand because I didn't know anything about it, but I took time to learn about it, and I try to learn about things instead of saying something so ignorant. Like I'm gonna shut up, y'all, because I was about to go. I hope your husband family is watching. I want you guys to go on google.com and type in what is autism,
Yeah. Yeah.
okay? And go to the CDC and read up on it and
Mm-hmm.
read how 1 out of 54 kids as of now is diagnosed with autism. Minority groups are least diagnosed because we don't get our kids diagnosed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I
Yeah.
hope y'all hear me. I hope y'all watch this replay and be like Crystal going in.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, because that comment, and it's not even towards her. It just I know it's other people who probably watch this
Mhm.
or people who are ignorant who don't realize that autism, it don't matter about the race, the culture, nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's drop that. And I know I write for black kids with autism, but white kids can get it, Hispanic kids can get it, an Indian kid can get it. Like, girl, my family have never tried me like that. I probably would snap.
Yeah.
Like,
My family has never tried like that either. My family has been very supportive. Again, we live in another state, but they are very much like wanting to learn, are very excited when there's new milestones. He'll be 10 coming up in June.
I
So
love
my
it.
side of the family is always very excited to like learn new things he's doing or hear about funny things.
Mhm.
We tend to not share that much on the other side about new things just because it's been it's been a process and not knowing where they are now as far as their understanding.
Well, I would say my suggestion to you is I will still send them milestones to be like, hey, he got a milestone. And it's up to them if they want to learn about it. I wouldn't close them off because they're ignorant. That's their lack of knowledge. And he's 10 now, so they should have research by now. They should have went and bought them some books to learn about it themselves. By now they should have went and bought them a children book or two and be like, let me support someone who got autism. By now they should did a walk, any of that. But that's not here or there. But I would still share updates, like my updates on Instagram, and people can see my updates that way. But shame on them.
Yeah.
I agree.
That's sad. And they're missing out on an awesome kid
Mhm.
because look at Tesla. Who don't want a Tesla? And that's created by what? A awesome adult. Because the way they brain work.
Right.
Apple, this little iPhone, created by an awesome adult. Like, they if you don't love you understand with autism, get to know somebody and love them, love on them, support the parent. So
Right.
check on us, see how we doing mentally. Um, randomly just call them like, girl, how you doing today? We love that. We need that. But we also need you as an adult to do the research about autism and not be so ignorant when it comes to the subject. And also be acceptance. Being aware of what autism is amazing, but you fully accepting somebody else being different from who you are is even better. Because that comment, girl, it just shifted my whole interview.
Right.
Girl, cause I just couldn't believe they said that to
Yeah.
you. Oh, your
Yeah.
husband.
Yeah.
Black people don't get autism.
Yeah.
Girl, get him my number.
Yeah. Right. Here we are years later. And I've done the research now. Like I
Mhm.
jumped in. It just took a while to get it from, was this my cause or was this just, how do I just love this baby like I love my other kids? And now you can't get me to shut up. So
Mhm. And I love that. We gotta
yeah.
talk about awesome kids. I love my son all the time. We have some comments. I have not forgotten about them. Wow. I don't play about my kids. You talk about my kids or mistreat them for a disability, I might take somebody's head off. I feel
Right.
that. Girl, I feel that. Let me start that. I feel that. I pinned it for you guys can like go back and read that later because that comment right there, yes. And her uncle had autism in the 70s. And that's a different era, and they
Mhm.
didn't understand. I know I talked to her before. She told me her family didn't know how to cope with it because that was the 70s where people don't talk about stuff like that. But yeah.
Very much so.
So do that family reach out? Like,
Um, Not so much, but not because he's on the spectrum, just because of how our relationship is. Our relationship with them is not, um, like reach out all the time and stuff. Yeah,
well, they toxic. I keep them
yeah,
away from my child too. So it's nothing wrong with that. I think
right.
people forget there's nothing wrong with cutting people who are in your family who is toxic
Right.
towards you for no
Hmm.
reason.
Right.
Um, when it comes to school and IEPs, what is like? Let's talk about IEPs.
Hmm.
How did y'all first IEP go, or how your current IEP go? Now that you've been in the game, you know what autism is. You've been researching. You're an advocate for your kid.
Hmm.
How is the IP game now?
Would you like to go first?
So,
Who
Go
you talking
ahead.
about her or me?
No,
our
Krishana.
our I goodness IEP. I can't talk.
Take
Sorry.
your time.
Um, we haven't had any issues. He went from a birth to three program because he was diagnosed so young. I think that might have been
Yeah.
the advantage because then they
Me
start
too.
the IEP, transitioning from that age 3 to like 4 when there wasn't really other stuff. He then did ABA and stuff. So his IEP traveled there. We haven't had an issue with his IEP. We've had issues with schools following the IEP and then
Mm-hmm.
being
That's the frustrating
willing to,
part.
yeah, so then not
Mm-hmm.
causing the issues there. But the IEP and what's in place and what we agreed to and having meetings and stuff, that's been good.
That's the part that gets me about the schools. They know legally that that's a legal binding contract, and they know. And I don't understand why they even play. And you look at the ideal law, and parents have rights. And I don't understand why schools give parents such a hard time sometimes. Um, I'm gonna answer my own question. This is my second IEP year. My son was diagnosed at 2. Um, he did do Babies Can't Wait in Georgia. If you're new to my podcast or whatever, you guys, Babies Can't Wait is something in Georgia that you can get your kid in before they get diagnosed. When they get diagnosed, you can get them in school quicker. All right, yeah, I got that. Now he did that, and when he did that, the first IP it went smooth, y'all. The second one, I admitted it within the first year. It didn't go as smooth because I knew my rights and it was certain things I didn't agree with. But this IEP this year, it went pretty good under my rights, and I actually ran my son IEP. The teacher did get to talk very little,
Mm-hmm.
but I ran his whole IEP. I knew the goals I wanted in place because he going into kindergarten, and I knew what I wanted. I knew the accommodations I wanted. You was not going to tell me no. Um, and I wanted data, and I think this year it went pretty smooth. I think I got everything I wanted. Now we have a whole nother meeting because they sent me the final draft, and let's just say they didn't include all of my notes, and I
Mm-hmm.
went through all of the pages, and I was like, so I went back. This is how professional petty I am. I went back into the real document. I edit the real document. I put all my edits in red, and I said, "No comment here. No accommodations here. Where's this wiggle seat here? Where's this here? Where's this here?" Tore that thing apart. Sent the back. She said, "Can we talk?" I was like, "Sure." When we gonna fix the real IP? Because this was not what I wanted.
Right.
So yeah, this IP this year I think went really good, but I think it's only because I know my rights. That's
Right.
it. I only had one
Absolutely.
issue. That was me getting the IP at least 5 days before the IP draft for I can prepare. But I ended up asking for a month time before I can like tear it apart and rip it and bring it back. I'm weird.
It's
I'm
not a
weird.
bad thing.
I I I, I need time to like go over documents. I can't go over document in like a week. I need like probably 3 weeks.
Right.
Um, it's time for you to answer the question. How's your IEP process going?
I had an IEP meeting today.
What?
Yes. So my IEP meeting All righty. Hey, can everyone hear me?
So we can hear you now.
All right, awesome. So today I had an IEP meeting. However, my first IEP meeting was back about 2.5, 3 years ago now. My son was 12 at the time. Um, he he was actually on a 504 plan prior to the IEP because no one knew that he was autistic until that time. Everyone continued to say it was a behavioral thing versus autism. So finally getting into there. And I've probably had over 20 IEP meetings since then. As of today, like you, I do run the IEP meeting. I do know my rights. I have gone to the Board of Education twice and won both of my cases twice for either, parent teacher communication or just certain things that they are supposed to accommodate him for, which they weren't accommodating him for. I have done a lot of different things that a lawyer should have probably done. So I'm probably going to go into school again to become an attorney somewhere because it seems like our kids need the most help there.
Ooh, girl, preach. They do. Did you watch last week episode where the school system did her the school system did her daughter wrong and they covered it up? Yeah, that was deep. That was deep. That was last week, but I
No.
agree with you. Like our kids need more help than anybody because they get played. Is y'all
Yes.
kids non-verbal or non-vocal, whatever term y'all use?
They more vocal.
See, mine's is non-verbal,
Yeah,
and
mine's is nonverbal as well.
Mhm.
it's so hard. Like, wait, like it's so hard.
Okay, so let me say this. I don't mean to cut you off or
You fine?
so yes, they are verbal, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they are going to verb or vocalize everything that they need. Because a lot of times, let's just say somebody came up to them and hit them, they're not going to say anything to them. They may hit them back, but they're not going to say anything to them. They're not going to say anything to the teacher. And then all of a sudden, all you hear is, so and so did this, and we don't understand what happened prior to. We can't get them to explain it because they can't
Because they're
verbalize
traumatized.
anything. Yeah, pretty much. It's too much stimulation. So many things are going on, and they have no clue how to say, hey, this person hit me. That's why I hit them back. Or so and
Right.
so did this. That's why I did
That's
that.
that's so that go back to social cues,
Mhm.
and that's part of autism.
Mm,
And I see this comment. It say some parents don't know their rights. You
Hmm.
are 100% right. You have
yes.
so many parents that don't know their rights,
Right.
and it's sad, but like I say all the time, every year, the parent is the best advocate. So if you have a special needs kid, now let's start talking about autism just for 1 second because this is Autism Awareness Month. But if you have a special needs kid and you don't take the time to learn about your kid and they're diagnosed, that speak volume to you as a parent and you as an individual. And I know
Mhm.
they be like, "Don't, Crystal, that's harsh." Well, I'm very, very in your face harsh. If you don't take time to learn about your kid and know your and learn your rights, I went to special IEP. I went to special needs conferences before my son was diagnosed. Yes, and that's how I became. I won't say I'm a beast because I don't play.
Right.
Anybody who know me know I don't play. So
Hmm.
even when it comes to his services, like I don't play. I'm like, so you don't know what you're doing, pretty much. And I'm not rude when I talk to people. I'm just very
Up front,
Hmm.
yep.
straight to the point. I
Why
get
why
that.
why sugarcoat stuff?
Yeah.
Right.
I think some many people be trying to be nice and hurt anybody's feelings. No, you're not
Hmm.
doing your job.
Nope.
His
You are doing
in
them a
black and white it
disservice.
says this.
Right.
This is his accommodation. It's a reason why this accommodation is needed. Why you're not doing it? Why are you not providing this accommodation? How many times you having services with my kid? Because in his IEP, this happened. In his IEP, it says blah blah blah. I don't see that.
Right.
So yeah. And I think it's unfortunate. And I do think you should go back to school to be a lawyer. And I think
Hmm.
you should be a special needs.
Special needs. Hmm.
hmm That's exactly what I was looking towards because a lot of times, again, they give you this small book in the IEP meeting and they state, hey, would you like your parent rights? And they give it to you and say, do you have any questions? I don't have any questions because I haven't had a chance to look at the book.
Right.
And even if I do have questions, you don't have the time to explain it to me.
Mhm. Yeah.
I can't even argue with that because I'm over here trying to. But mine was emailed to me actually.
Uh-huh.
That's why I like the
Mm.
virtual. It was emailed me. It was emailed to me like 3 weeks before the IEP meeting.
Mm.
I had
Wow.
time.
Oh, yeah, they were prepared because
Yeah.
Yep.
it's seldom.
I'm gonna tell
Yeah.
you why they was prepared. 2 days. Okay, so the IEP they kept changing the date. I'm gonna tell you, and this is really what happened. I love my son's teacher. She is so sweet, but she's a first year teacher, and
Hmm.
I love her though. So I said, hey, I need to draft. And she never sent it, so I sent a formal email, and I went in the formal way, and she never sent the draft. So that Friday came up. I said, hey, the meeting is Monday. Where's the draft? Now I said, you know what? Per the law, you're supposed to give me 5 days. I know my rights.
Hmm.
And then after that, I got treated differently.
Hmm.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
that's what happened. But she a first year teacher, so she didn't know. And I was
Yeah.
like, I told her I was not doing an IEP meeting with going over 30 pages in a weekend. And I worked the weekend.
Right.
I wasn't doing that.
But
I
see, that's where I have a problem. Yeah, she's a
Yeah.
first year teacher, but we are also first year parents as
Yeah.
well whenever it comes to certain situations like this. So yeah, they have all of these excuses, but the problem is they want us to work with them, they have to also work with us.
Right. Yeah.
It makes more sense that way.
Yeah.
You
A
know
number
what's
of
so
people.
funny? You sound like a IEP advocate. I know
Oh,
she
yeah.
like do you not okay, I have two IEP advocate friends
Hmm.
and I was talking to them during this process and it was like, what's her
Right.
problem? And I was like, just give her grace. They said, don't give her no grace.
Nope.
I was like, no, I'm not y'all. I'm gonna give her grace. 'Cause it's her first year and my son has made great progress. So I'm gonna leave
Mm.
her alone. And
Okay,
that
he's
was
made
that
great progress. That's what's important. I'll say that. But let me say this, so many different times where I've dealt with so many different people, a lot of times they take your kindness for weakness. Where they can cut a
Hmm.
little, they'll cut a little. I don't like that. I'm not going to play
Hmm.
with you and you're not going to play with me. I do what I can at home, like you are supposed to do what you're supposed to do at school. We work
Yeah.
together, we can come up with success. If we don't work together, this is all going to fall apart. I don't have time to fall apart, and neither does he. So I need you
Yeah.
to do what you can do so I can do what I have to do so we can move this together.
it's always good to have someone that is knowledgeable.
Yeah.
I can't disagree with you, Shamia. The only reason I became knowledgeable because I went to a special needs conference. Um,
Yeah.
a good friend of mine's, she asked me to go, and I went. And before COVID, the girl used to fly down to Atlanta once a month, and nobody would come. And then I ended up keep being the only parent there. And I used to circle all this knowledge. There used to be a lot of professionals there. There used to be
Mm.
so much knowledge. Like I feel like my brain was exploding. Like
Mhm.
it was so much. But I'm happy that I experienced that but before COVID because I learned so much about the special needs education world.
Mhm. Mhm.
I met teachers. I networked. And I wasn't even calling myself an advocate at this point because my son wasn't officially diagnosed yet.
Mhm.
So
I've met a lot of parents that have been scared to get the rest of the not scared, but haven't gotten the rest of the knowledge because there's been so many roadblocks. So then they stop. They're like, "Oh, I have this information," but then the school system has been like, "Oh, well, no, like you told them, you spoke up and said, "Oh, I'm supposed to have it this amount of days and all this stuff." And when they've done that, the school has then come back and been like, "Oh, well, we have to do this or we have to do that." So then they stop pushing. And
Hmm.
I've ran into them where they're like, Krishana, it's so hard because da, 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 da. I'm like, girl, keep
no,
doing it,
Hmm.
no.
and keep advocating. But people get burnt out. I know a lot
Hmm.
of people that's kids are on the spectrum or other disabilities that they're like, oh, I got burnt out, so we're just doing this, or we're just doing this instead, or we
But you
just
know what?
forgot about it.
I love what you just said, the burnt out
Hmm.
piece. I love what you just said. And I'm finna go there. I hope,
Yeah.
hope y'all ready for that. It's not about you. It's
Hmm.
about your kid. Like it's now I understand when you burnt out, take that month, that take that 2 weeks, take that month off. But don't go to 6, 7 months to a year say I'm
Right.
still burnt out. Baby, that's an excuse. Let me say that for you. That's an excuse. Your child
Mhm.
depend on you, and you
Mhm.
need to, yes, get your life together. And that means you need to take a month off. Take a month off, but don't forget that
Mhm.
you got this child who trying to create to be independent. So for
Right.
me, that's an excuse to a certain point.
Mhm.
That's like I know like really harsh. I think today probably is the most harsh I have ever realist I've ever been
Yeah.
because it's something I feed off my kids. And when it goes to the school system
Yeah.
and they push back, no, you ain't pushing back. I'm gonna tell
Yeah.
you why you're not pushing back. It's an IEP. What is an IEP? It's a
Mhm.
invent. It's about my son. It's
Mhm.
I'm sorry, I'm getting tongue tied. Y'all know what it is.
Mhm.
Quality
Education.
of life.
It's
Yeah.
an education
Absolutely.
plan,
Yeah. Yeah.
and y'all, you know my vision for my son. You no, don't push back. Now
Mhm.
we gonna make it work. Like
Mhm.
like prime example, they had it the way they had his IP set up last year. The speech sessions was too long, and I was like, let's break it down to 15 minutes, and let's do it 4 times a week or whatever. They pushed back so hard. I said no. This is what I want. And then they end up adding an extra day, and I wanted it individual. I didn't want a small group setting with his speech, and they pushed back on that. I said I'm not budging. This is an amendment IEP, and I'm amending the IEP, and I'm telling you what I want. And I think when people get burnt out, they just have to take time to step back, go out for a drink, go on a trip, do whatever
Mhm.
you need, but give yourself a timeline. Cause 6 months, a year, that's too long to be burnt out.
Mhm.
Now
Mhm.
if you're in depression, that's different. Depression and burnt out are two different things. Cause
Mhm.
I've been both. And
Mhm.
but when I was depressed, I was still pushing through for my son. So I feel like sometimes I feel people make excuses because people want a pity party.
Mhm.
I wasn't throwing a pity party for myself. People didn't even know I was depressed and going through stuff. I was
Mhm.
just figuring it out, taking him to therapy. If I had to cry, I cried. If I whatever I was going through was with me and God, not me and my son. My son, I love you, but if I gotta cry, I'm gonna cry. But he ain't gonna be
Mhm.
around, so I feel
Mhm.
like that's an excuse. I'm sorry.
Mhm.
We have so many comments, y'all. Did I even read your? Nope, I did not read it. Your daughter's IP tomorrow, so and tomorrow's your first time, girl. Go to my website. Um, go to the freebies. Download the IP ebook is free. It's these are freebies. And download the IP binder. Get you a binder. I highly recommend you having a binder and you keeping up with your kids' stuff. And always ask for a digital copy for you can have a folder on your computer. A file for that as well. Make sure you have your questions ready. Make sure you have your goals, the type of goals you want. Your goals have to be smart. It has to be yeah, I have problems with my S words and people didn't know that. It has to be specific, measurable, attainable. SMAR. What's the T stand for, y'all?
New to me.
Um, I can't remember the last two, the R and the T, but look up SMART goals. Yes, make a notebook tonight and look up SMART goals and have your notebook ready and pen and paper. Let them do the talking at your child first IEP and go based on there. And if you agree, you agree. You know, if your child needs services, advocate for them services. Ask for the data. If you already have the data, have it prepared. I know you're like, dang, Crystal. Yes. That's everything you're gonna need. And if you need more of this, DM me. I'm gonna be up tonight. I have to work on some stuff. So this DM me if you need more, but get ready for the IEP tonight. Prep. If you believe in God, pray. And you're gonna have a good IEP tomorrow, girl. And if you know somebody who know about IEPs, have them there. Have an advocate. It's always good to have somebody else there on at the IEP meeting or the table. Always good. Always good. I was just at another IEP with my friend, and I was her child advocate, and they try to play her, and I wasn't allowing that. So don't let them overtalk you. If you feel like they're trying to overtalk you, just say, "Hey, I have a right to be here," because parents have rights. So, okay, realistic and time bound. So that's your SMART goals. Let's look it up and make sure the goals are based on your child's strength and not their weaknesses for that you can build towards that delay your child have. I hope I answered that question for your first IEP. Good luck and good luck being the advocate girl and go over the parent. You haven't got anything um um you're supposed to get at least the parent rights before the IEP so you can know your rights. But look at the idea law and go from there and look buy right law books WRIGHT law books and I hope I answered your question. Sorry. I know that was a lot. Okay. It says I experience burnout all the time with 5 kids, given their needs. I prioritize that. I understand that. And do you guys have any comment for her first IEP or any no, SMART. SMART. That is a real thing. It's not a goal if it's not a SMART goal. I know you like what? Look it up for IEP people. Look it up. That is a real thing. It was created by Right Law. The book I just recommended, they created that. They are lawyers who their kid was special needs and they realized the system was doing their kid wrong. So they created books to educate other parents. They have conferences. Of course, they're not free. Yeah, but it's SMART. Smart goal. You spelled it wrong. They move her from a 504 to an IEP. Well, they should have sent you a draft. Yeah, if you moving from a 504 plan, they already have data and everything. They should have sent you a draft for you can know what to tell you. Pretty much, you're going to. I'm gonna kick it to you real. You're going into this meeting unprepared because the school system did not give you what you need. They didn't give you the proper tools to go in there to advocate for your child tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm free, I'd be your child advocate tomorrow if I'm free. But you guys send me the draft, and you don't have that. So you need to be emailing your teacher, your child teacher today, and you need to ask them to not have this meeting tomorrow, for you can have time to go over that draft.
Mm-hmm.
That is the law. That's your right. I know you like, yeah, yep, you got it right. Do you guys have anything to add to her to help her?
I do.
Go ahead.
Um, take all of the passion out of it. When you go into there, you have to strictly be about a business deal, basically. You have to, because if you do not, you will have a breakdown in the middle of the meeting because they are going to be talking about your child basically like they're a subject. It is not personal to them. So take all the personal out of it for yourself and make sure that you are working this business deal like it's the last thing you have on this earth to do. A lot of times they don't understand, and again, they will take your kindness for weakness and they will use it in the way that they want to use it. You have to be very firm on what you're asking for and understand that no one is going to understand your point of view unless you explain it to them in the way that they can understand.
I agree. I think the only part that I will add is the one school that we had an issue with the IEP, the teacher did a lot of trying to talk down to us as if we didn't know our child or as if we didn't know the information.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so being prepared that is, as Octavia said, like they're coming in there already like, I know everything. This is what we
Mm-hmm.
need to do. And it's like, well, no, because we are the expert of our children.
Mm-hmm.
So they may
Mm-hmm.
know how to work with children, but we're the expert for our own children. So being
Right.
prepared for them trying to come at you. And it feels like an attack sometimes because they will
Yes.
talk to you and try to talk down to you during those meetings.
Yep, and that goes back to the part where I said if they're talking at you, you correct them real quick.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
And
hence why I said
respectively.
right, right. What she said. Hence why I said I run my own IEP meeting. Like I be okay, and I just go in,
Mm-hmm.
and I do it to the point where the teachers agree with my goals.
Uh-huh. Yep.
So
As
it's
yep.
it's It's more. It's look at it this way. It's a collaboration.
Mm-hmm.
You have to collaborate.
Mm-hmm.
But the talking down part, I had that happen last year. I checked that. I didn't like that
Mm-hmm.
at all. It pissed me off.
Mm-hmm.
I cut my camera off. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, I know this, and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
let me come back. And I came back, and then I waited. And I sent my nice little email,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and then I just got to typing.
Mm-hmm.
Then the lady called me to apologize.
Mm-hmm.
I said,
Right.
oh, I said thank you, because you shouldn't talk to parents like that because
Right.
you have a degree. She kept throwing her degree out there, and I was like, I got a degree too.
Right.
You trying to say I don't got a degree?
Right.
Yes. So just be ready for tomorrow. But like I said, had them postpone. I'm trying to read her comment, y'all. Yeah, had them postpone her thing, her
Mm-hmm.
IP, until you're properly prepared. Based on reading you some of these comments, I know you're not. I know that's kind of like harsh.
Mm-hmm.
I don't try to be harsh, y'all. I'm really loving, caring,
No.
giving. I love everyone, but I really think you should have the IEP meeting tomorrow.
Right.
Like that's just my true advocate opinion. That's I'm gonna say that's my professional opinion. Don't have that meeting tomorrow because you're gonna be overwhelmed because
Yes.
you're gonna be like what they're talking about because you ain't had time to read it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, and it's also certain words I don't use in IEPs.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like restraining my child is another thing that
Mm-hmm.
cannot be an IEP. And if you haven't had time to like properly go over that, you can sign it and not even realize. Now you can always go back and amend it,
Mm-hmm.
but to avoid having another meeting with them, I recommend reading it.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I've had IEPs last 5 hours before. And it's because one, I questioned everything. Two, you're not gonna make me sign something that I don't agree with. And three, if we have to go over this again, we're gonna go over it. I know,
I love that.
yeah. I know that for a while I was kind of confused on how the minutes worked as well. You know, the minutes they take during the meeting, they're supposed to write verbatim or they can kind of cut and paste where they want. I don't like that. I want everything in there because we said everything in here today, and I don't want anything to be misconstrued.
You know what? Back to my friend IEP meeting, y'all. I went to help her last week because she was overwhelmed. I said I need you guys to email my client, but they know they're just she's just really my homegirl. I need you guys to email Miss blah 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 her minutes and her and recording. I gotta see if we can do that. I looked at the camera. I said, no, ma'am. It's her right as a parent
Mm-hmm.
to have those minutes and that recording. Well,
Mm-hmm.
let me. I'm not debating with you. I gotta check. No, I'm telling you. I
Mm-hmm.
said it just like I'm. No, I'm telling you.
Mm-hmm.
And whoever she called, they say yes, yeah, the advocate is right. I know
Mm-hmm.
I'm right. Email her those minutes
Mm-hmm.
and that recording.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I have one other thing. Also, it may be her first IEP meeting, but for a lot of those teachers, it might be their first one as well. And sometimes we don't think about that.
But then you just say don't get them. Then you just say don't get them parents, them teachers grades. When I told you
Right.
my
Right. Exactly. Teach them how they need to treat you and your child. Because yeah, you're afraid to go in there, but they're also afraid to go in there because they don't know what to expect. Sometimes they don't know the laws, and if you know the law, you do have the upper hand. So it works in your favor, which is
right,
a good thing. And you are absolutely right.
this her question. I don't know if it's a question or comment. Is it different for people with other disabilities? Or you think it's the same? Girl, IEPs are all the same. No, it's nothing different. Just
Mm-hmm.
let's take autism off the table. Let's
Mm-hmm.
replace it with what your kid got. Epilepsy, that still is a delay.
Mm-hmm.
It or they may not be what they need to be. So they need more help versus a neurotypical kid. I use the
Mm-hmm.
word neurotypical because neurotypical is all mean that falls for everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like a neurotypical kid don't need as much help as our kids need. Like so no. just because somebody has don't have autism, they can still have IEP if they have the deficit.
Right.
Like IEP is not just designed for kids with autism. And I think that was a great question you asked, but your kid can get it too. They have epilepsy. You even have behavior intervention plans in school.
Right.
Like that and that I'm pretty sure them people don't have autism. So I hope I answered that question. You guys can answer that question too.
Yes.
You want to answer it there or go to the question again, you ladies?
Yeah. From what I'm going to answer it the way I see it. So, as far as all of them being the same or different, they all need accommodations. Each accommodation is different for every child.
Mhm.
And whether it's a child with epilepsy, a child with autism, neurotypical, atypical, or I'm sorry, I'm probably mixing up the words, but what I'm saying to you is they all deserve accommodations, and whether those accommodations are a long list of accommodations or a short list
Mhm.
of accommodations, every child needs something. And the IEP meetings are there so that we can get those accommodations under
Mhm.
the IDEA law. I mean, our kids deserve to have the proper education just like every other child. Just
Mhm.
because they're walking in with something missing, they do deserve the same things other children get, regardless of whether they have it or not.
Right.
Amen.
And I
Fact.
think you can face a battle when I see, do you think it's the same? You can get the battle with anybody that needs an IEP because they don't want to have to make the accommodations.
Right.
Because that means that that teacher, that school is going to have to change something for that plan and
Mm-hmm.
how they do stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
even if it's for behavior or autism or any other disability, it's because they have to make those accommodations. So they're going to
Mm-hmm.
push the buttons. They're going to see how
Right.
far they can push you, how much you know, how much you don't
Mm-hmm.
know. So you'll get that anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And also, per the law, you can get accommodations for a test as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I
Absolutely.
don't know who don't know
even
that,
just
but
noise.
hmm,
Mm-hmm.
Even just noise. I know
Yep.
people that
hmm,
just were getting just the headphones, just like, and no autism, but needing, like,
yeah,
I needed to
that's still
be
a
like,
Mm-hmm.
accommodation. Like
mm-hmm,
Yep.
they can get it for testing.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you don't know that, you can get it for testing. Like
Mm-hmm.
your kid can have frequent breaks.
Mm-hmm.
If you feel like your kid is overstimulated and they need breaks,
Mm-hmm.
add in the IEP.
Yep.
Add it. Go ahead and
All
add
of
it.
that.
If you feel like your kid need a wiggle chair or sensory toys,
Mm-hmm.
add it. The school got to buy it. The school get money, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Like
They do.
they need services. Oh, tell the school.
I
The
believe they
school
get
the
about
school
25,000 a year.
girl, sometimes I think sometimes they get more than that.
Mm-hmm.
COVID schools got more
Mm-hmm.
than that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
They got a lot more funding because of COVID
Mm-hmm.
for the computers and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I ask for everything.
Mm-hmm.
I be like, my kid need you got some supplies? I need that.
Right.
I don't buy
Mhm.
supplies.
yeah.
Right.
I asked the school for like right now my son needs a safety seatbelt.
Mm,
Mhm.
I'm not paying $160 for that. I'm gonna ask the school first.
Right.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
So and that's another thing. But they also got accommodations for transportation.
Yes.
mm-hmm,
Um they have so many accommodations. I want
Mm-hmm.
you to look it up and look into it. But
Mm-hmm.
first you need to get the IEP. That's your first battle.
Yeah.
Get in the
mm-hmm,
draft. Then worry about accommodations later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do you guys have any more questions in the roommate audience? 'Cause I feel like we answered all her questions. Um,
Crystal, you touched on something about restraining, and um, for our son, we that was part of the meet. So the one issue we had with the IEP, it was at a particular school, and restraining it was as an absolute no for me. And once we told the school this school, so our son, he's very aggressive at a lot of times he is nonverbal. He now has started to do where he does echoing, so he'll repeat stuff, but you'll be like, "Oh, did you say that?" And then he might not come back around and say it again for a long time. Um, but they were restraining him, and we would get these notices, and the school was saying, "Oh, so that school," and we've moved him out of school. We moved back to an apartment just so we could get back to the school district that was and now is taking care of his needs. But they would send us, and they had 3 days to tell you verbally by phone 5 days to get the report mailed to you that they had to put your child in restraint. That was the school district's policy, which was crazy. So I end up getting something in the mail, had no idea. And I was like, huh? What you mean restraint? That's how it started out. So then, of course, we're talking to them. I'm like, nope, don't you see this? It's already in here. I don't do restraining. We're not doing this. Um, she had an issue with that. And so what she started doing then was calling us every single day to come pick him up.
But
So
that goes against the IEP too. But
absolutely, that was the only place that we had the issue with the IEP because she was already violating
I
it.
would have sued. I would have sued. I
Oh,
would have
it
sued
was a
this lady.
mess. I called the district. We had the liaison there, and at that time, it's funny because some people did. I did have a couple of people that was like, "Oh, you should push this further." And for
Right.
me, I was like, "We are dealing with this school where it was a predominantly white school," and I was like, "You know what? Maybe that's just the clue that like we ain't supposed to be here." Um, and I made the decision. I took it all the way up and made noise about it. And then we were like, yeah, let's just pull him. But it was very much so where every single day, if he blinked too fast, I was like, huh? Oh yeah, you got to come get him because he's having a rough day. I stopped what
Hey,
I was
you
doing.
know
I'm
what
gonna go
I
get my
would have said back
baby.
to her? I would have said, "Look like you having a rough day too, baby, because I ain't coming today."
Oh, right. It was horrible. But you know what my fear was? My fear is that for a long time, and this is the only school. So this school did call CPS on us one time. But my fear is always because he's not verbal that I don't know then what somebody else is doing to him, right?
Right.
Like when I'm not
Mm-hmm.
there. So, Crystal, I had a lot of those times where I was like, yeah, no, we're not going to do this. I told you
Mm-hmm.
not to restrain him. I'm not coming. I got to finish off what I'm doing. And
Mm-hmm.
then I sit there and play it in my head of like,
What?
I know you
Mm-hmm.
could be doing something that I can't
Mm-hmm.
control, and he won't be able to verbalize to me.
Mm-hmm.
That's
And
my
he
fear
did
too.
start doing things by showing us, like we would get him dressed for school in the morning, and he would get undressed before you could even open the door because the bus was there. But it took a minute for us to even put the pieces together to be like, what's going on here? And then after a while, it was like, oh, wait a minute. It's not, I'm thinking, is it the bus driver? Is it, you don't like the fabric clothes? What is it? And we go through all that as parents with kids on the spectrum. We're like, is this a sensory thing? Is this a whatever this is? So we try to check all the boxes. And I feel like we came down to, and it took us to pull him out of that school. It had nothing to do with getting on the bus, and it had nothing to do with going to school. It had to do with going to that school.
Mm-hmm.
Because then as soon as we moved and got him back and he recognized the teacher, and so his problems that he has over here are these typical things where you tell him no and he's upset. not
Mm-hmm.
not these big behaviors he was doing,
Right.
but I
But
did do those.
my thing is, why be a teacher and why be a
I
special needs teacher if
uh-huh,
you cannot
uh-huh,
deal with our kids or you
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
hate them or whatever the
yeah,
case may be? And
mhm,
I feel you. That's my fear.
mhm,
I even try to ask, can I have a camera on my son's bag? I
mhm,
was told no.
yeah.
I was told
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I was like, look, he not verbal. Like, how I'ma know something going on?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
And I have the same fear. I think anybody who has a non-verbal kid, we all have the same fears.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's my hurting
yeah,
our kid, it's my touching our kid.
yeah,
Like,
Mm-hmm.
that is what I struggle with every
yeah,
day.
yeah,
Like,
Mm-hmm.
that is a struggle. Um, it's a lot. That's why I don't let anybody watch him. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
I understand. Like
Mm-hmm.
having a nonverbal kid, and my thing I hate the most about having a nonverbal kid, he gonna start talking, girl.
I know. Yeah,
And they be loud and wrong because not all nonverbal kids who become adults are verbal.
absolutely.
Not
Yeah,
all of them.
yeah,
And
yeah.
that's a real reality that most
Mhm,
people don't want to accept. Now,
mhm,
in my little brain, I kind of accept it, but I hear people be like, "Oh, he gonna be verbal. He gonna talk, and he ain't gonna
Mm-hmm.
shut up." Please
yeah,
shut up.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I love you. I know you're
Mm-hmm.
coming from a loving place, but please shut up and do your
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah,
research.
yeah.
Absolutely.
I've done that. I've told people until you've gotten to, like I said, he'll be 10 in June. I tell people until you gotten to this point and you haven't heard your child call you mom. I have five total. So here I have a younger one underneath him that's about to be two, and then the three that are older. And I said, so when you have a child that hasn't called you mom and hasn't said those things that we're always looking for, right? Like I love you and mommy and all that stuff. I don't want to hear you tell me, oh, He gonna be talking one day, watching. You won't be able to get him to shut up. And then when they hear terms in the background, right, where he might pick up something, it's like, see, that's what I said. And I was like, yeah, see, I need you to go back
That
and research because that don't mean, it don't mean that he's gonna be chatting with us tomorrow.
Yeah, right. It definitely takes time.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
I don't know what just happened, but I think you just shook the internet because you was talking because I have only heard my son say "mama." I have never
Hmm.
heard "I love you."
Hmm.
Like I feel where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Like I feel it, and I don't think people understand when they say, "Oh, your baby gonna start talking. You need to do this. You need to do that." But they
Hmm.
don't have a awesome kid like us, and they
Mm-hmm.
trying to give us advice on how
Mm-hmm.
our kids gonna start talking. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
baby, you don't even know the half of it because I don't even post it. My
Right.
child don't talk. He say mama, mama, mama. Or he may say papa, but my child is 5. He supposed to have way over 300 words in vocabulary. And
Mm-hmm.
you are now I'm excited about those 2 words, but you
Mm-hmm.
telling me, oh, well, he said this. He gonna start talking. Shut up. Just shut up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
how I feel. That's
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
that's that's how I
Me as
feel.
well. Yeah, yeah. Where I tell them that's the least of my worries. That's not my worry. My worry is how is he being treated when I'm not there because people know he's nonverbal, or when they see he's tall. When they see him and they're trying to judge. People always say, "Oh, they too big to be acting like that," and it's like to be acting like what? It's not an
Right.
act. Like what you
That's
see is
another
what you get.
thing. How do your kids, both of you guys, the same subject from IEPs, how do your kids act in public? Do they have sensory overloads in public?
Yes.
Workplaces trigger them.
Birthday parties, any place that has a enormous amount of people, sensory processing is all over the place. So my son, we went to a birthday party. It was at my friend's home, and he ended up coming down the stairs by himself, the only child, jumped over the steps and was like, "I'm so sorry, I lost control." That was his way of telling me, "I'm sorry, mom, I'm having a sensory overload." So it looks different
Mhm,
for the
Yeah,
most part.
it look different for every kid that's on the spectrum. Like
mhm,
my son's sensory overload is a beauty supply store. No, I don't take him no more. Too much. And the dentist. Oh, and getting his hair done, y'all. Like getting
Mm-hmm.
his hair done is the worst. It's
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
like and like what I don't like when he did have his little sensory overload in the beauty supply store, people was just looking at him, and I'm looking
Mhm,
at them because I was ready
Right.
to take anybody like
Right.
'cause he was running from me in the store because it was too much. It was
Right.
just and I was running after him to get him to calm him down. And I wish people just got like I said in the beginning of the show, I wish people had more kindness and they
mhm,
took
Mm-hmm.
time to have compassion and be like, maybe
Mm-hmm.
that child not bad. The first people so judgmental. Look at that badass child.
Mm-hmm.
mhm,
They're not thinking, and I know they're not. Maybe because I have a kid on the spectrum, I think differently now.
Mm-hmm.
God has worked with me, gave me patience and understanding. Now I don't judge people. I see something
mhm,
like when I see somebody handicapped, I try to help them. I always tried before my son, but now it's more personal.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm
mhm,
going to help you. Like
mhm,
I had this guest like last week, disabled, and I didn't understand why he didn't have a care coordinator with him or something like that. But we was busy as hell. But I took my time to really service him because nobody, not even a guest, nobody tried to help him, and that irked my soul. Y'all don't see this man struggling, and y'all just looking like y'all disgusted. You can be in a
Right.
wheelchair too. You can be paralyzed too. Your life can change tomorrow, and you'll be just like
Right.
him. So that's what I just want to say: kindness. So
absolutely. Yeah. We don't do so much birthday parties. Ours is the simple stuff of changing the store. I I made the mistake a couple of weeks ago. I went to a different store because I was like, "Oh, it's gonna be cheaper here." That was a mistake. because we now have a system, a plan. Like, oh, we go into the store, we go in twos. He was fine, and I changed the game up a little bit, and then it was like, oh, wait a minute, it was brighter in there.
Mm-hmm.
There were a lot more people. Everybody was close by, and I wasn't thinking about it because I'm like, oh, you do good now in the store. Oh no, it was like, yeah, we're gonna
It's
have to hurry up and
routine.
go.
It's routine.
Yeah.
It's routine. And for me, I personally don't care what people think about me. So if I am at the store and my son having a breakdown, I just give him the tablet like it's okay.
Yeah.
Mommy's gonna keep
Mhm,
shopping. I gotta get what I gotta get. Here
mhm,
go your tablet. Have your moment,
mhm.
and I'm gonna keep going. And if somebody looking at me all weird, I'll be like this.
Yeah.
I maybe because I'm from Atlanta and I just don't care. I don't
We
know
get
which
it.
I
Yeah.
don't know what it is, y'all.
Yeah.
I'm ready. I be ready. What is it? T train to go. I
Oh
be
yeah.
ready to go. I be like say something to
Yes.
me. Like
Yep.
Wow.
even when family say certain things about my child, I be looking at them like I get in my face like what?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just me. I don't know. I
Yeah.
won't change me for the world
Yeah.
Right.
No, stay like that. I think it's good.
because
I
I
think
be
there
looking at
it depends
people,
on the day for me.
girl.
Yeah.
Depends on the
It
day.
depends on the day for me.
Along my son got his tab. I take a snack bag with me everywhere. So
Mm,
what helps
Mm-hmm.
my son overload is his snack bag and his tablet. So
mhm,
those two things are always with me. I don't care if it's a no tablet day. His no tablet days are Mondays, Tuesdays. And I still have it with me at all times, just in
mhm,
case we about to have a moment and we out in these streets. Here go your tablet.
mhm,
You
Right.
need some fruit snacks. Here go your fruit snacks.
Right.
I give him everything. How was your
Okay.
kids with eating?
Oh,
I'm tackling
picky.
everything in this one interview, y'all.
Picky.
I'm laughing because it's been all over the place.
Yes. My
Yeah.
son will eat pizza, cheese pizza, but won't eat cheese on the cheeseburger. He'll
Oh.
eat meat on a burger, but won't eat meat on a cheese pizza.
Mhm.
So, have you ever thought about feeding therapy?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know it was a thing.
No.
Yeah, I did, but we tried it when he was younger,
Mhm.
and then it wasn't that my son would only eat certain, like he would only eat beans, but beans that he could pick up. So he wouldn't do refried beans. He would do like kidney bean, beans, kidney beans. He wouldn't eat white stuff for a while. So even if it was vanilla yogurt, vanilla ice cream, if it was white, it was like that. Um,
Oh wow.
So, how did the feeding therapy go? And now that he's 10, do you still try to
we
do that?
stopped. So he was doing feeding therapy. He had OT, feeding, and speech all at one time, and all three of those providers felt like it was a system overload for him, and so we pulled him out of all three at one time and put him just in ABA. While we were transitioning to ABA, is at the same time where his eating habits at home started to change. Um, so then he started taking more stuff, but he is still very much like when you talk about like cheese on the burger, like he won't eat the bread. So he'll take the whole burger apart and eat it separate, but he'll eat pizza, a slice of pizza, but he won't eat the bun for the burger,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or the corn dog, everything's coming off and he'll eat the. So things started to kind of change as he got older. And
Mm-hmm.
we then never looked back at OT or feeding therapy again.
So, I'm gonna answer my own question.
Mm-hmm.
So it's funny you said that. Right now, my son is not in no therapy, but feeding therapy. He's only in feeding therapy right now because
Mm-hmm.
he had, like you said, he had ABA, speech,
Mm-hmm.
OT, feeding. He had everything, and it was burning me out, but it was for him. But I took everything, been like stopped, and I just have feeding. My son feeding is more of a sensory thing,
Mm-hmm.
so um I want to say it's interesting. I have to right now. I have to blend. That's him trying to get in here, y'all. I have to blend up the new foods and I have to feed it to him. It's like baby food. That's the protocol. He go to Market Center. Market Center is the best in the East Coast. They have a 2 year waiting list. So if you have a kid on the spectrum, you guys for feeding, get them on that list, y'all. It's two
Mm-hmm.
years waiting list, but get them on. Okay.
Right.
Um, so with them, we're in the process, and because of Market Center, I have added yogurt to his diet. Strawberry, well, pureed strawberries. Pureed spaghetti, not the texture spaghetti me and you eat.
Mhm.
That's a no. Not the texture strawberries me and you eat. That's still that's a hard no. But um that's what I've been doing. And I'm trying to open up his palate. And I also give him gummies. I give him Juice Plus. He get his fruit gummies and his vegetable gummies. The vegetable gummies have like 10 plus vegetables in it. The fruit gummies have like 10 plus. It's expensive, y'all. It's $75 a month. But yeah. Yeah, but he gets his vegetables every day. He eats his
Yeah.
fruit every day. But that's the most expensive thing I pay is the $75 a month.
Mm.
I know I don't want nobody to ask me in my DM what it is. It's Juice Plus. It's Juice and the plus sign,
Mm.
and it's $75 a month. All right, that's a lot, but I use his SSI to pay for that. So
Mhm. Mhm.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, girl, you can get feeding therapy for your kid.
Yeah.
Therapy.
Oh, you therapy?
Yep. Would you like to eat this tonight? If yes, then good. Would you
Oh,
like something else tonight?
yeah. Yeah.
Oh no, girl, I force feed my child.
Crystal said, "Oh no."
I force feed him.
Mhm.
No.
We fight. I get
Oh
on
my
top of him with
goodness.
the spoon and I put it in his mouth.
Whatever works. I'll say that.
Girl, no. I will say because of that, he does like strawberries.
Mhm.
Um
Mhm.
for Easter yesterday he had strawberries because his dad's family they was not prepared for my baby. So I got the blender and I blended it. I blended him some collard greens. That was a struggle.
Mm.
That was a hard no. But I have to put his feeding therapy doctor. Well, she's a real doctor. Let me not do that. She want me to start back giving him puree fruit. I mean vegetables.
Mm.
That's a process, and I hate it. So the fruit is easy, but the vegetables is hard. So let's try a new method. Blend it up first, and
Mhm.
then see what he try it. Just give it to him like his applesauce and see what he like it. And then
Mhm.
as he eat it for about a month, then you start to give him the texture food. That's pretty much what
Mhm.
they do. That is what they do at
What they
the
do.
market center. That's what they
Mhm.
do. If you want to be honest,
Mhm.
but they do it. And they do it in sessions. They don't do all of it.
Mhm.
It's like so they started from a blank palette and they go, and then they first they do the empty spoon because I do that too, and then after they do the empty spoon, they do the food. But the spoon in the beginning is not full.
Mhm.
It's like it's like this much. Then it grows this much. Then it grow that much. Then it grow that much. Then they get to a full spoon,
Mhm.
and that's when I hope that makes sense.
Yes.
Mhm. Mhm.
Somebody said that gotta be hard for baby boy, but I get your approach.
Mhm.
Well, my goal is for him when he get older and I'm not here, not just eat chicken nuggets and pizza all the
Mhm.
time. That is not
Mhm.
life.
Mhm.
So I force feed my baby. I say what I say. I don't care if I say something negative. I force feed my son.
Yeah.
I do. Do he like
Yeah.
it? No, he don't
Mhm.
like it.
Mhm.
But when it's food that he like, when I force feed him, he be like, and he pick it up. He be like, "Mm, mm." I'd be like, oh, okay. You would never did it if it was I you had to pick, but he just don't eat the
Mhm.
texture stuff.
Mhm.
Final question. Final two questions. You having an awesome kid. What does your day-to-day life look like?
No day to day is the same. They're all different. Picking up and dealing with the day as it comes is
Mhm,
probably the best way I could put it for any day. Everyone goes to school.
Mhm.
Of course, I do have the baby at home. He is 4 months, going on 5 months. The older three, which is a 3 year old, a 11 year old, and a 15 year old, they all go to school during the day. Whether I'm taking them back and forth to school, then getting home, there is a routine for every single person in this house. And baths, eating, bed, brushing teeth, cleaning room, picking out clothes. Everybody has a routine and everyone has a time to do everything. So it's more of a routine and just taking the day as it comes and whatever comes in with it.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I love that. What
Mm-hmm.
about you?
Our day is similar. It's well, kind of it day by day. My older kids, I have two adults. One doesn't live here. So I got 23, 20, 16. Then my awesome child that will be 10, he's 9. And then my almost 2-year old. So he goes to school. When he comes home, he kind of does his own. He likes to play. He likes to play with. He likes clay, so he likes to clay. Do that
Mm-hmm.
stuff. I will say that my older kids got to get a lot of kudos because I don't know if this journey would have been as easy as it is now for us if my older kids wouldn't have gotten into gear with
Mm-hmm.
how do we best support our brother on this journey. And then now, even when it stressed them out, and so our routine is kind of like, oh, we go to school, get on the bus, but then when them shifts come, I need them to kind of step into gear to make sure
Mm-hmm.
that we are able to function
Right.
properly.
I
And
love
even
that.
like going to the store, yeah, even like going to the store or anything like that. My older kids have always been a big help to us as our day to day is different.
Right.
Okay, well, I'm gonna answer my own question. If you look behind me, you see it's a schedule. Um, this is not accurate. I actually need to change it. I change his schedule every month, and I have not done a schedule based lifestyle in about. My cousin died in September, so I want to say I haven't done one pretty much since then. And as of right now, it has been a day to day. But I know that this behind me is more of my son's speed. So I'm going to get back to a schedule. But I do his schedule is not like strictly like well, I do this, I do this. I try to like throw things in there for he don't get so robot ish. That is what I normally do. Like some Tuesdays would be learning words. Like I bought this little cool little thing you guys, where it read words. Like whatever word I pull out, it'll read it. So we do things like that on a certain day. Um, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. My final question to close out this awesome episode, and I hope you guys check out the replay. Is how do you manage your self care with an awesome kid?
I have a jacuzzi bathtub.
I love.
Mm-hmm.
What state you in, girl?
Georgia.
Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
Hey. Oh, what about you?
I,
You and your self care?
Crystal said, "Did you hear me?" Yes. I don't know. I don't. I no. Mm-mm. I don't have a self care routine. I should. Um, I know. Look at both of y'all. Okay. I don't have a self care routine. I
Oh,
have
can I
tried.
challenge you?
Mm-hmm.
Can I
Yes.
challenge you? I'm
Yeah.
I'm going to email you in a month, and I'm going to ask you what have you done for your self care because that's
Okay.
important. Because
Mm-hmm.
we already have awesome kids, and that's already
Yes.
stressful,
Mm-hmm.
and we have to take care of ourselves because if we don't take care of ourselves, we're gonna go crazy.
Oh yeah.
And
Right.
you already got an awesome village. You already got
Yeah.
your older kids. You got your
Mhm.
husband. So
Mhm.
you need to have a dedicated day per
Yeah.
week to yourself. My dedicated day is, and I still get my son later that day, Sunday. Sundays, I take myself on a date. Oh, I get my feet or my nails done, and then I go out to eat. And I just enjoy my day. And of course, therapy, like I have a well, I'm looking for a therapist. That is part of my self care. Got to take care of my mind, my body, and my soul.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I absolutely agree. I just haven't found it yet.
I'm gonna need you to find that.
Right.
Your husband gonna be so happy I said that.
I'm I'm gonna work on that. I'm gonna look out for your emails. I'm gonna work on.
I'm gonna email you because I'm gonna be like, "Have you done your self care yet?" Because
Mm-hmm.
oh, we got new comments. I'm so sorry, yeah. I stopped looking at the comment. Oh, you encourage it? Yes, we have to encourage our self
Mm-hmm.
love, like self care, self love. I don't care if you're married, not married. you need that.
I agree.
Like,
I agree.
you need self love. You need all of that. And if you just tuned in, we're actually about to leave. I'm so sorry. You can catch the replay. You can watch us on YouTube. Yeah, I'm gonna upload all this to all like the Apple soon. And if you guys need an IEP planner, go to Amazon. It's called My IEP Planner by me, Crystal Jordan. And you're gonna love me. It has so much stuff in there. You guys on $8.99. I'm never gonna raise the price on that because I think that's a good price and I think it's affordable. Go get that if you have an IP because I know I get asked that question. So that's on Amazon. Hey Mary. Oh, you talk. So she talks to somebody. Yes, we was talking about IEPs. So that was earlier. That was a lot earlier, the IEP stuff. That's why I said just go get the IEP planner or go on ZachariahWorld.com for the freebie. It's not my ebook, it's somebody else's ebook. It's another awesome mom, and she want to help educate as well. It's free. Download that. She has so much resources in that free little ebook that she gave me to get to y'all. So I hope you guys download it because we ain't some type of IPs no more, y'all. That was a handful. I'm sorry. Oh, that was your friend. Okay, well, tell her to rewatch the replay. I love you, Mary, but I hope you don't got no IP questions. DM me, maybe, because IEP's gonna take up like another 30 minutes of me talking because that's a lot. I love y'all though. Why you put me on the spotlight like that? Telling her I'm a great advocate. Well, tell her to watch replay. I'm sorry, y'all. But if you guys have any final thoughts, you have a business that you guys want to promote.
Kashana?
I am a child and family therapist in Washington State, and we have offices in King County and in Pierce County. So if anyone is in the state looking for therapy, I can give Crystal. I don't know. Should I send you my? I think I have sent you my web link to the
Send me a
agency.
separate email
Okay.
versus because all y'all emails came together. Like,
Okay. No worries.
if I could screenshot it,
Yeah.
yeah, send it separately, and I can add you to the resource list. I am creating a black um resource list for special needs or autism on my website. But I can add you to my resource list. I have a whole resource list that I add, but I gotta add. I'm gonna create, like I said, a black one soon. I was gonna announce that soon, but y'all got to hear first. It take me forever to work on it, y'all. Like it be so much work from this, from my books, from being a mom, being working, and that's pretty much it. Cause I'm single, I don't have to worry about nobody. So that's all I gotta do. uh, Octavia, do you have a business?
I do not have a business as of yet, just a children's book author
Oh,
for
that's a
right now.
business. Wait. Ooh. That's a business. Promote your book.
So you can catch my book on Amazon. It's Mommy, I Do Not Have Any Friends by Octavia Johnson. And it's a good read. And you'll find all of my stuff on there on my author's page. So
Let
I
me
think it's a good book to check out.
Let me go on Amazon before we get off. 'Cause I want to be
Mhm.
able to find it. You said,
Awesome.
"Mommy, I don't have any friends."
I do not have any friends.
'Cause I want to drop that link. I don't have any friends. I want to drop the link for my viewers who are watching and tuning in as we speak. Um. Okay, Octavia, I'm not finding it. Do you have a link?
If you'll type in Amazon.com/author
I got it.
okay, got it.
Give me 1 second, you guys. If you guys are still watching with us, I am about to drop a link. But I gotta drop a clean link, so let me go back and fix it. Alrighty, you guys, the link have been dropped. The link is
Yay.
right here. Please go support my girl and get her book. It is called, drop it in the comments. It's called Mommy Not Have Any Friends ebook. I don't have any friends ebook. That was the one, that was the Kindle version that I found.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, you guys, I'm gonna drop the name of the book right here for you guys can have it. I'm sorry, give me a second. I like to support my guests. Okay, there we go. This is the name of her book, you guys. Go support her. And this since it's another awesome mom. Well, she don't have an autism kid, but we're gonna put her business right here as well. Because being a special needs mom, you guys, we don't work full time like most of y'all because we can't. FYI. And with that being stated, you guys, I really hope you guys enjoyed this episode. We gotta get these kids to sleep. And with that being stated, I am about to go to a close. Don't forget to come next week. Next week is all about IEPs. I have 2 dope IEP coaches. You guys can ask all the IEP questions you want because that's what they do for a living. And I'm gonna be chilling because I want to take notes too. So tune in next week to all about IEPs with your girl Crystal J. And like I said, IEP master coaches. This is what they do. This is what they train for. They are advocates for IEPs. So if you want to know about the IEP world, come this week and book a free session with them and get all the knowledge you can. And one is my personal friend. You guys are gonna love her. She has so much knowledge about IEPs. It's gonna blow your brain, or blow your mind, blow your brain. You know what I meant. But anyway, bye, you guys.
Shit, my thinking different. People wicked, they be calling you special. I call you gifted. Won't forget it.